Yeah, going, keep moving on, and we're talking towards, and we're getting into a little bit more politics. We haven't really hit. I mean, we did a little bit on the Tim. What the hell is this? I don't even know the
Tim
video.
Walz.
The
Yeah.
Minnesota go. Um, is this going to go anywhere with him? And I agree with Dave. When you lie about something like that, your integrity and your credibility in my book has been gone. It's gone. Your credibility's gone. Your integrity's gone. You know the Army values, and I'm just gonna say why you even didn't go to combat, which to me you pissed down your leg. Maybe it was something other than that, but to me that was chickening out. It's my opinion. But is this going to end? Because Dave also has a good point. Democrats don't give a shit. Republicans will still keep hammering. I lean right more. I lean right like Dave too. And will I continue to hammer him on it? Yeah, I'm going to. And I will say it right now. But is it going to do anything to affect the election if she continues to keep him, or is it just, are we just beating our heads against the tree because nobody really gives two shits about it as far as the civilians go?
I think if it was more, if he'd have come out and said, I had the fucking Silver Star, or like
Right.
Steve did. If Steve said, if he said I was a combat pilot and I fucking, I served in Vietnam, he makes insinuations a lot. I mean, and it's hard not to say that Tim Walz has not misspoke. I mean, because there's lots of videos out there where he makes an insinuation. Yes, the dude served. Yes, he was in Italy in support of enduring freedom, but sometimes he makes it sound
Yeah.
to civilians like I was there in the shit, and that's going to upset a lot of veterans. All the veterans that served in Afghanistan don't like to hear somebody say I was in Afghanistan or Operation Enduring Freedom when you weren't. If you were on the ground and Enduring Freedom, you got a campaign medal for that. You got to, I mean, he does not have that. I'm still waiting on his actual 214 for his time frame in Italy to see if he got the Expeditionary Medal, but he would not have the Afghanistan campaign medal because he was not in Afghanistan. Same with the video where he says, and I had a lot of Democrats attack me for that, saying, "Oh, you put the comma in the wrong place." No, that's how the campaign presented it. If you listen to the video, he says, "In war," while I was in war. Dude was not in war. There's a difference. He was in Italy in support of the war. I mean, there's a big difference. And civilians don't understand that. As veterans, we do. So that's why veterans are more upset, than civilians would be, because they really don't give a fuck.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and they're veterans. And he has his campaign has come out. They apologized. He said he misspoke, so he lied. Like his campaign has apologized, and if they have changed like his bio on the official site, then
they did.
Got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
Sure.
They did. They changed his bio on the campaign from retired command sergeant major to served as command sergeant major.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'll give you my opinion for what it's worth, if it's even worth anything, to Chris's question, because I was thinking about this morning, actually, just in preparation for this interview. And I just think by and large, most people know who they're voting for right now in this election. And I think the people they're trying to convince are a very small amount of swing voters, or people who are voting for Kennedy, who are just like, you know what, it's a wasted vote. I'm going to go with one of these people or the other person. And then the other thing I was thinking about, just racking my brain, because that's just kind of how I am in prepping for these interviews, is that the news cycle just goes so quickly. Yeah. We're on to the, like, Trump getting shot, we're already on to the next thing, even though it's like one of the most historical events any of us will ever see.
Yeah.
Right. And now it seems like it was last year.
Yeah, I was thinking back, because this is crazy. You guys will remember this, to when I was a little kid, and what was going. Maybe I just always was interested in politics. Like, I remember them talking about Dan Quayle running with George Bush, and I remember the big scandal. Do you guys remember that the big scandal with Dan Quayle was that he went to like a grammar school, and there was a spelling bee, and they said spell potato, and the kid said Potato, and then Dan Quayle said no. There's an E at the end. And this, I remember, was a giant fucking news story. They were like, man, this guy is a moron. He doesn't even know how to spell the word potato. Now, think about that in the context of today. No one would even give a shit for 5 minutes. But back then, because we're so plugged into the news cycle every 2 seconds that every day it's a new thing. And I think whatever we're talking about today, it's going to be entirely different than what we're talking about 2 months from now. And I do think there are people very offended, of course, understandably, by Tim Walz embellishing his service. But in my opinion, just as a political observer, is it going to impact the vote at all? No. I think anybody who's voting for Kamala Harris is going to make an excuse for it and move on.
Right.
That's my opinion.
No, I agree. I think at this point, everybody's made their minds up.
Yeah.
And it's just right now, it's just, it's just a battle. They're
Can
going to.
Can I mention one other thing, Anthony? How crazy is it that before they picked Tim Walz and it looked like they were going to pick Josh Shapiro, I came across that article in the Daily Beast that in his 20s, Josh Shapiro had written an article that he volunteered in the IDF and he didn't volunteer in the IDF. So of the two vice presidential candidates, they both would have had a stolen valor stint.
I didn't know that either. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I tweeted it to you. You came, I think you retweeted it, man, because he wrote it on, he said, I was 20, but he wrote in the article, I volunteered with the IDF, and he didn't. He volunteered in Israel for something having nothing to do with the IDF, and it was on a military base.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so it's just those were the two picks, and they both would have been accused of stolen valor. Pretty fucking crazy, I think. Thanks for checking out Battle Line Podcast. This is just a smaller clip from our latest episode, which you can check out in its entirety by clicking here. While you're watching, be sure to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video to show your support. Now, if you'd really like to help us out, click the thanks button below to make a donation. It goes directly to us in keeping Battle Line Podcast going for you.